I'm well, Jim. How are you?
For those of you who don't know, top lawyer, left big law at Disney and other places, is now working with creators. Why did you pivot to creators?
Because there's a huge need. Creators are getting screwed left and right, and there's no one to protect them. I talk to my colleagues in Hollywood, and no one's interested. They're like, it's a lot of babysitting and therapy work. And I'm like, yeah, but it has to be done. You know, there's all these accidental millionaire YouTubers who don't have their businesses set up. They don't have insurance. They don't have agreements in place. And that's where I come in and really help them professionalize and become a legitimate business.
Tell me a couple of the creators you're working with now.
I work with, Azzyland, Jax Films, The Financial Audit, Janelle Eats, Jenny Hoyas. They're all, million plus subs. And they make really good living, full-time creators, 6 to 7 figures.
Wow. So every year. What's the biggest mistake you see creators doing today?
Well, some of the things I said, like not setting up their businesses, not thinking of themselves as a business who people will sue, and they just don't think of themselves as being vulnerable to any liability.
Yeah, we did a video before this with a couple tips, and one of your tips was set up an LLC. Creators don't have LLCs?
I have clients who make 7 figures, and one of the first things I ask them is, do you have an LLC? And they're like, no. And I said, well, then all of your personal assets are touchable in a lawsuit. And they're like, it is? I'm like, yes, it is. So let's do that. Let's set up an LLC for you. That's usually the first thing I do for them.
And it's not hard, right?
No, it's not. But it's just, creators are very cost sensitive. If there's no reason for them to spend money, they're not going to do it. Most creators come to me because either someone has stolen their IP, usually their course, or a brand has not paid. I have so many outstanding 6-figure brand deals right now. And by the way, it's not the brand who doesn't pay, it's the agencies who don't pay.
Really?
So like, there was a brand deal for a client. I won't name who it is, but he was nominated for many Streamies last year. 6-figure brand deal with Chrysler. Chrysler paid the agency, but a lot of agencies are going under now. And so I finally got a hold of the CFO and I said, what is going on? And she said, well, we're basically stealing from one client to pay another client because it's like we don't have enough money to pay everybody.
Is this a talent agency or an influencer marketing agency or a management agency?
It's like a creative agency. They're hired to execute the product.
Yeah, like an influencer agency. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. That's scary. Okay. So you just released a video and you said this in the video that we did too, which I thought was amazing. You said, don't take brand deals. Why not?
I don't think creators should do brand deals. I think they should launch their own products, right? So there's this creator named Amanda Rach Lee. She made free content for 10 years. She does bullet journaling. She decided during COVID to launch a product that was $50. I think she sold 1 million units on that first day. Let's just do the math there. She's 22 years old and she launched.
But we have all these stories about creators making bad products and their fans not liking them and then canceling them. There's a lot of risk in creating your own products too, right?
Yes. And there's a risk in doing brand deals. Look at FTX, right? It's like you can do a brand deal, and if you don't have a mutual morals clause, you'll be stuck, in that agreement with that brand and then you're screwed and you get sued. Look at all those financial channels that got sued with FTX, right?
On the age of crypto. Exactly.
Yeah.
So another tip that you had, which I'd love you to elaborate on, the video that we did before this, was about putting your editor under contract. Why do you need a contract with an editor and what should be in it?
Well, so this is from my Hollywood days, right? I've worked at Disney and Skydance and BuzzFeed. You have to capture, as a company, you have to capture the results and proceeds, right? When it's a work for hire, you have to make sure that you are capturing that IP. What I've seen for a lot of creator channels is they'll hire their friends or some, fan in their community. They'll come edit their videos and then they're saying, after 6 months, I've learned all of your secrets. I'm going to go start my own channel now. And there's no agreement. There's no non-competes in there, which I know some states don't love them, but you need to have protections in place that tell an editor, you can come learn my secrets, but then you can't go to a competitor or start your own channel. I mean, these are things that creators are not thinking about.
Yeah. I heard about this one guy, creator who, basically remember the folks that would jump off mountains with their kites and do like that sort of kite surfing thing, what they call it. But, his editor they did all this video, all this great stuff. We're about to sell it to GoPro. His editor unfortunately died and there was no contract. He could not sell those videos to GoPro and make money on them, even though they were his videos, because his editors, like his state, wouldn't let him. There are a lot of stories like that, right?
Oh yeah, and GoPro is not going to touch, you need clean chain of title. GoPro is not going to touch that if it's not clean.
Let's talk a little bit about, let's say you're doing a brand deal or you're doing other things, about disclosure. The FTC is leaning in on disclosure laws with creators. Talk about what that is, why it's important, and tips on maybe how to execute on disclosure laws so that the FTC doesn't come after you.
So in the past, you could just put it somewhere in your description or even in a comment, like hashtag ads. Now the FTC is requiring that you actually say it in your video, right? That this is an ad, this is a sponsor post, this is a sponsor video, because they want to make it very clear that when a creator is talking about a product that they're getting paid for it, because it does really, color the audience. Well, like, are you getting paid for it, or did you buy this product and you genuinely love this? So because of so many issues with different, influencers, I mean, Kim Kardashian, she got fined very heavily by the FTC as a warning, cautionary tale of not putting all the disclosures in there. FTC is really taking it seriously because they realize that creators are a huge marketing arm for so many brands now, right? Brands are using creators as organic marketing in a way that traditional marketing kind of can't touch anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about another area of creator protection. We talked about AI a lot, but I'm going to bring it up again. There was this recent case, Ariel, who did some UGC content for a brand, a bunch of videos. They said, do this, do a walking, do on a bus, do this and that. And then they used a company called HeyGen to clone her and started using the cloned version of her with AI to create more UGC content for them. How do you protect yourself there to keep that from happening to you?
You have to have a lawyer and look at that contract, right? Because if it says, this was the whole issue with the strike in SAG, right? Why did SAG hold so tightly during the strike on the AI issue? Because they didn't hold in 2008 with Netflix and streaming. They were just like, oh, it's going to be fine. We don't know what streaming is going to be like. It's not going to be a big deal. Well, they learned their lesson and they realized that you cannot bring in an actor, pay them for a day, and then be able to use their rights in perpetuity. That agreement, her agreement probably says that. We get to use all your name and likeness in perpetuity. So she probably cannot get out of that contract. That's why it's so important to have, an attorney. You can hire an attorney for a couple $1,000s that will save you 6 figures in litigation fees, right? Because she's probably going to have to go sue them now to try to get out of it.
Yeah, exactly. All right. One last question for you. We talked about this in the AI session yesterday about the validity of using AI and copyright. So, and I brought this up and it's probably bad advice, but I said, look, if it's generative AI and it's generated by a computer, it's not protected by copyrights and anybody can use it. Is that right?
Well, I think a lot of AI laws are going to pass in the next 3 to 5 years, and it's going to be based on what happens in the courts. A lot of lawyers and judges will decide the future of AI. All of these publications are suing all these all the companies who own the Gen AI.
The stuff they trained on, exactly.
Yes. So if those cases come out that the materials that they trained on are protected, then, I can't answer right now what the answer is going to be, but I think in the next a few years, we're going to see the law really sign with, the creators that they trained on are going to get protected. U.S. is very strong in protecting copyright holders.
Yeah, but if somebody creates an image in Midjourney and I see it and it's Midjourney created, can't I just use it without any worries?
for right now in this moment in time, yes.
Okay.
But until the laws pass, I'm not sure.
Tyler Chou, thank you very much. Tyler Law for Creators. Appreciate it. Thank you all.